for those slash Todd Huff Show for those that want to watch the program live or on demand, as long as our friends at Facebook. Oh, not just Facebook now. We're also on YouTube and Periscope / Twitter. So it's good to be here no matter where you are watching or listening from. Freedom 95 in Indianapolis as well, 95.9 FM. By the way, 9:50 a.m. is where the signal also simulcasts. So if you're in a place that's you're not getting the signal on the FM perfectly clearly, try the AM dial. 9:50 a.m. That signal travels a little bit further outside of the Indianapolis metro area. So good to be here. Thank you for joining us, folks. We are in the midst of I guess you could call it a cold civil war in this nation, a cold civil war. This battle is taking place on the political battlefront, I suppose. But this is rooted in culture. This is rooted in ideology. This is rooted in fundamental beliefs. We have people in this nation who are actively trying to move us away from the constitutional truths established by, established by our founders, but those truths were established by God. Those truths were established, not based upon not based upon anything other than what comes to us, what we are given as being part of God's creation. We hold these truths to be self-evident, that all men were created equal, endowed by their Creator with certain unalienable rights, among those life, liberty, pursuit of happiness. Now, as Biden would say, the thing, the thing, and he might get a little bit confused as he shares the words of the Declaration or maybe parts of the Constitution. Don't know what he refers to the Constitution as. The other thing, I guess. Remembers the Legend of Corn Pop story flawlessly as he grabs a 6 foot of pull chain, gonna wrap it around the head of Corn Pop out in the parking lot back in the 1960s. But anyway, we've got an ideological cold civil war going on. And we've obviously seen this for some time. And now we are tiptoeing, I shouldn't say even tiptoeing, but we're moving towards the sacred ground of the Supreme Court. We talked about this yesterday. For those in the, from the godless part of the radical left, the atheist, godless part of the radical left, the strictly humanist radical left. This is a portion of them. This is not all of them, but this is akin to their religion. Supreme Court is sacred to them. Supreme Court should be an instrument, a tool that is used to further their ideology, to further move us towards socialism. For some of these yahoos and lunatics, it's to move us closer to communism. This is the place where they turn to implement liberal ideology, policies, socialist ideas and dreams, utopian concepts and so forth. This is where they turn when they can't get it done through the political system. The court is supposed to be something, it's a branch of our government, but it's supposed to be above the fray of politics. It's supposed to be a group of people who interpret what is written in the Constitution or in statutes and apply those statutes based upon what they say, the original intent of the law and so forth. Of course, that's not what the leftists talk about. They tell us instead that the Constitution is a living, breathing document. They think the Constitution is a living, breathing document, but they can't find anywhere any evidence to suggest that an unborn child in the womb is a living person. Can't figure that out, just like they also can't figure out, the radical leftists who I'm talking about here, they can't find any hint in the Constitution of the right to keep and bear arms, the right to religious liberty or the importance thereof. They can't find that stuff. They get confused about that, can't find it, but they find things hidden in the Constitution that they're, it's like Nicolas Cage and, what is that movie he was in? Oz is looking at me. She can't think of it either. National Treasure. Yep, Oz agrees. National Treasure. So it's like they're looking for secrets and clues. They're probably putting on all sorts of different eyeglasses, looking at the original document of the Constitution, failing to read the actual text that we can all see, instead looking for secret clues and hidden gems and so forth. Kind of what it feels like to watch a liberal explain to me what the Constitution means. But yet, this is what they do. They do somersaults in the courts. They clearly engage in judicial activism, which is really what's at stake here. You know, when someone says, I want a conservative justice, look, I don't want someone that's going to go in there and try to institute conservative policy that's not been, passed as in statute. If it's there, it needs to be interpreted and applied. That's all I'm asking. If it's in the Constitution, which a lot of it is, it needs to be applied. If it's not in the Constitution and not in statute, then don't make it up. That's the job of Congress. That's the job of, once Congress passes that legislation, that's then the job of the president to sign said legislation. Then the courts have something to interpret. Voila, there you go. That's how this is supposed to work. It's really not, in theory, complicated. I'm not saying there's never complex legal issues where you have to weigh one particular statute against another or two important principles. I'm not saying that doesn't exist, because it clearly does. What I'm saying is you don't make stuff up out of whole cloth and say that it's in the Constitution. And that's what we're dealing with. We have one group, and Chuck Schumer told us this in a conference call. Didn't tell us this, but according to sources, again, who knows sources, but Chuck Schumer says that if Republicans nominate someone during this, before the election, if Trump is going to appoint someone and the Senate is going to confirm this individual, which is the process, this according to a tweet a couple of days ago. We didn't get to this yesterday because I wanted to spend a lot of time talking about a lot of principles and theories and the role of government, what this is really all about, and so forth. But Schumer said, let me be clear, if Leader McConnell and Senate Republicans move forward with this being the nomination or the confirmation of whoever Trump actually nominates, Chuck Schumer adds, then nothing is off the table for next year. Nothing is off the table. This is where you hear speculation of Washington, D.C. becoming a state, Puerto Rico becoming a state, doing away with the filibuster in the Senate, doing away with, God only knows, right? God only knows what they're willing to do. This is sacred ground. There will be proverbial hell to pay. Now, they're already, by the way, let me point this out. They're already kind of assuming that Biden's going to win the election, that the Democrats are going to control the Senate, and presumably that they're going to control the House. Now, this could happen. Let me just say that this is certainly a possibility. This could happen, and the Democrats could hold all three chambers, or have basically control of majorities of both houses of Congress and the presidency. I'm not predicting that. I'm just simply saying it is certainly a possibility. It's also certainly a possibility that Republicans can hold the Senate, that Trump wins re-election, and it's possible, although many people say it's not probable at all. I don't necessarily agree with that either, but Republicans could win the House of Representatives back, which would be a very good thing. By the way, kudos to the Republicans here. Kudos to the Republicans. I remember, I've been following politics, as many of you have as well, for a long time. And I can tell you prior to 2016, I had two major beefs with Republicans, with conservatives. Still have some beefs with some Republicans that are, the positions they take or different things like that. No one's perfect. No party has it all together, but it's a stark contrast when you look at the Republican Party versus the Democrat Party. You look at one party who's on the side of defunding police, one party who's on the side of, just insane policies and ideas, the growth of government, the growth of just taxing you more, regulating us more, promising us utopia on earth, promising to appoint justices to the Supreme Court who are effectively judicial activists. I mean, that's what it really means to be a liberal justice. You can cite foreign law, Harry Potter novels, and the dream that you had the night before a hearing, and that's considered serious, and that's considered very profound and very sophisticated, very forward-thinking and that sort of thing. But anyway, I remember back in 2016, and it still exists to some degree today, but there were two problems. I remember when we went through and looked at the nominee or the folks running for president in the Republican Party, and they were, I kind of went through and talked about each and every one of them, things that I liked about each candidate, really. The only one I couldn't find something that I liked about was John Kasich. Turned out he was a Democrat who thought he was a Republican. No word if the Russians tricked him into thinking that. But anyway, so we did that in 16, but I remember saying, and I still stand by this, there's two problems. There's two things that conservatives have had enough of. They've had enough of electing people who aren't conservative enough, Republicans or whatever. I mean, it's not Democrats. It's maybe independents or maybe it's libertarians or whatever. They're tired of electing people who promise to restore government to its proper size, move towards limited government, away from big government. They're tired of that. They're tired of the conservative promises. They don't see these things realized. Instead, they see more broken promises and more love of big government in their elected officials, number one. Number two, they're tired of their representatives being weenies, being wimps. They're tired of that. And I remember thinking and saying at the time, President Trump certainly addresses the wimpiness factor. Trump is not a wimp. There were some certain questions at one point from some folks about his conservative credentials, but if you look at what he's done in 4 years, this is something that policy-wise, conservatives who take a look at what he's actually done, should be very pleased with that. But I want to say in a larger context, Mitch McConnell standing up to the media and the Democrats, I don't think would have happened 4 years ago. And this is all, by the way, let me add this. This is all, by the way, because of Donald Trump blazing that trail. Republicans prior to 2016, even in Trump's first couple of years in office, they were timid, they were scared, they were afraid of the media, and there's still certainly degrees of this, and I'm not saying it's completely cured, but I am saying it is different. Mitch McConnell wasted no time saying that the president has the constitutional authority to nominate a justice. The Senate has the constitutional authority to confirm said justice. That justice can then, by the Constitution, be appointed to fill the vacancy on the Supreme Court. End of story. That is it. That is it. Are there political ramifications for this? Possibly. Possibly. Could they be good or bad? Yes. Depending upon the particular seat, where you're running, all these sorts of things. It might help people. Some people think it's going to help Lindsey Graham in South Carolina, who's in a tougher race than people expected. Some people think it might hurt, say, Martha McSally in Arizona. And there's other people, Cory Gardner in Colorado, it might hurt. Trump says maybe it'll help him. And maybe it will. We don't know. But we do know this. There's the political side of this argument, and there's the constitutional side of this argument. There is absolutely nothing. There is no reason whatsoever why Republicans constitutionally cannot go through with this. Zero. As Rush would say, zip, zero, nada. There's no reason. No reason that they cannot do this. politically, there might be reasons. There may not be reasons. I'm not suggesting there are. I'm simply making the distinction between what the powers in the Constitution are granted, what powers in the Constitution are granted to certain branches of the government, who has those powers, when they have those powers, and what they can do with those powers, and everything that makes it possible to both nominate and confirm a Supreme Court justice is in the power of the Republican president and the Republican Senate. End of story. The left has lost their mind about this. It's funny to me. You look at this. Democrats are literally threatening. They're now making threats, open threats to further intensify the politicization of America, of our daily life, of the next Congress, should they be elected in, God forbid, November. They're openly threatening to politicize things even further if Republicans simply act upon their clearly defined constitutional rights. Think about that. Republicans doing what they are clearly allowed by the Constitution to do. In fact, one would even say should do. Remember the Senate Republicans back in 2016, and I've got to take a break here, but Senate Republicans back in 2016 were accused of not doing their constitutional duty by having a hearing for Merrick Garland. We went through that ad nauseum yesterday. It's simply not the case. That's the narrative. That's what they want you to think. But Republicans have the constitutional authority to do this. And as payback for doing their job, as payback for doing what the Constitution allows, Democrats say nothing is off the table. Don Lemon's prepared to burn the whole system down, folks. I'll play that soundbite. He's a lunatic. Which he's been accused, by the way. Won't never forget this. Some people think he's too conservative. I'm sure. That tells us a lot about what we know about the radical left if Don Lemon's too conservative. But anyway, I want to share that soundbite. I want to share some other things and talk about this further. But we are in the midst of a cold civil war. Ideology is front and center here. We have two visions for America. And the only thing that makes us go away, folks, is if one side wins this politically. And we've got to win this politically. We've got to buckle up, put on our big boy and big girl pants, because this is not going away. I don't care who wins this election. I don't care what happens in this nomination process, whatever. This is not going away anytime soon. We have got to win the battle for the heart, minds, and soul of Americans, make the cause for constitutional conservatism and the case against big government, liberalism, socialism, communism, etc. And I've got to take a break. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff, back in just a minute.
Listen to Todd's show on your way to work, but want to hear more? Don't miss a beat. Visit toddhuffshow.com/listen to catch the program anytime, anywhere.
Business leaders, are your employees satisfied with their jobs? Do they enjoy coming to work and feel valued? Workforce Chaplains can help. Locally owned, we work with organizations to provide holistic care to their employees. I'm Marcus Schrader, president of Workforce Chaplains, and we offer your team a 24/7 support system that positively affects your company's culture and productivity. With our personalized pricing and diverse support system, we handle the issues that you wish you had time for. To learn more, visit us at workforcechaplains.com.
Geothermal tax credits are back, making this the perfect time to install a new Climate Master geothermal system. Take advantage of this limited time 26% tax credit and begin cutting your heating and cooling bills immediately. Visit indianageothermal.com/info to get your free Climate Master information kit or call 317-829-1490. Visit indianageothermal.com/info or call 317-829-1490. Geothermal, it's cheaper than you think.
We all know having health insurance doesn't always equal health care. That's why at Freedom HealthWorks, we believe the key to maintaining good health is based on a straightforward, personal relationship with your physician. With our direct doctor-patient relationship model, we remove your healthcare middleman and replace him with transparent pricing and incentive to call your doctor at the first sign of illness. So if you're ready to experience real care from a doctor that really cares about you, go to freedomhealthworks.com and learn more about the benefits of our direct primary care model. Freedom HealthWorks. Be treated better.
Do you use the expensive blue or yellow pills to charge your sex life? Are you thinking about it? What if we can promise you the same results for less than $3 a pill? If you're paying $20 a pill for the other pills, you're getting taken to the cleaners. Our pills deliver the exact same results for less than $3. You'll save more than $16 a pill for the same results. And right now, radio callers will get 44 blue or yellow pills for $120 with free discreet shipping. You can save more than $700 off pharmacy prices. Charge your sex life now and save a ton of money. Call now and get your 44 pills and save over $700 and qualify for free shipping. Stop overpaying and call right now.
800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. 800-764-9168. That's 800-764-9168.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
All right, here we go. $100 down, $200
I went to my first firearms auction a few years ago. It was hosted by TJ Freege, one of my good friends from high school, who is a champion auctioneer and one of the best in the business. In spite of objections from liberal legislators, I walked away with a .22 rifle and a few boxes of ammunition. And I had a great afternoon with my grandpa that I won't soon forget. If you've ever wondered what treasure you could find in an auction, visit FreegeAuctioneers.com and take a look at their upcoming Central Indiana auction schedule. That's Freege, F-R-E-I-J-E, auctioneers.com. Visit FreegeAuctioneers.com.
Hi, I'm TJ Freege, owner and lead auctioneer at Freege & Freege Auctions and Marketing. I invite you to come see the power of live auctions. It's fast, it's fun, it's transparent, and it's the absolute best way to ensure you get fair market value for your asset today. Get results, go auction.
Welcome back. Threw the hat on during the break there. Brought it down here. Set it on the desk. Didn't put it on. Put it on during the break. Not sure why. Feels better to have it on. But anyway, before the break, we were talking about we're in the midst of a cold civil war, an ideological war. And it is getting more intense by the day, almost by the hour. The radical left becomes more and more emboldened to make threats. People applaud this, to say stupid things like, we're going to have to blow up the entire system. Did I say burn it down before the break? I must have misspoken. I must have confused the actions that the radical left has been condoning and ignoring as cities around this country have been ablaze because radical anarchists or whoever these lunatics are, Antifa, the violent rioters that are part of, or maybe they've embraced the Black Lives Matter Marxist roots and they're out there, justifying these actions and behaviors. I must have confused what they're condoning and excusing, and even in some ways emboldening, the actions that they're emboldening because of their inability to enforce the law, send in troops to, or officers or whatever it takes to protect these cities. By the way, Seattle, New York City, and Portland have been declared, what are they, anarchist zones or some such thing by the Department of Justice? That's another story altogether. But they're declared those things because that's who is ruling parts of these communities now. These governors and mayors have no interest, no ability to stop this, to cause the violence to decrease. Instead, they're proposing ideas like defunding the police. It's a brilliant thing to do. Anyway, so we've got unhinged people in positions of power and positions of media saying all sorts of stupid things. Add to the list Don Lemon. Good old Don Lemon. I tell you what, I watch this sometimes from time to time. Don Lemon, CNN. I do it I do it because it entertains me, and it's sometimes I just want to see. I want to see the degree of the quote unquote logic. It's not logic, but the what they view as logic. I want to see this on display. I want to see it for myself. I want to see the amount of rage. I want to see what they're telling their audience, their dwindling audience, by the way. But I want you to listen to this exchange. This is a serious exchange between Don Lemon and tough guy Chris Cuomo at CNN. As one of them's passing the program, I forget who's on first. It's tough guy Chris Cuomo, I think, passes it to Don Lemon. Maybe it's vice versa. I don't know, and I don't care. I just know I occasionally watch this nonsense just to get a glimpse of the stupidity that we see on the airwaves around this great nation. Listen to this exchange. I mean, this is serious conversation, and this is one they're having on air. It makes me wonder what's the conversation these jokers are having off air. This is one that they think is appropriate or good or reasonable to have on air. I can't imagine some of the things that they say. Hey Chris, I couldn't say this on the air, and then he fills in the blank. Those conversations happen. What on earth would that be? What on earth might that be? Here we go. Don Lemon talking to Chris Cuomo. This is beautiful stuff. Here we go.
No matter what happens, everybody sticks
We're
with
going to have
the team.
to blow up the entire system. And you know what we're going to have to do?
No, I don't know
You
about
know what we're going to? Yes,
Yeah.
what you're going to have to do?
You just got to vote.
Honestly, from what your closing argument is, you're going to have to get rid of the Electoral College. Because the people...
I don't see it.
Because the minority in this country decides who the judges are and they decide who the president is.
But you need a constitutional amendment to do that.
And if Joe Biden wins, Democrats can stack the courts and they can do that amendment and they can get it passed.
Well, you need
That's a
two-thirds
danger.
vote in the Congress and three-quarters of the state legislatures.
They may be able to do that.
Maybe.
I'm starting to wonder if Don Lemon has any idea what math is. They may be able to get three-quarters of the state legislature to get rid of the Electoral College right now? You think so, Don Lemon? You're telling us, Don Lemon, that the majority of people want to see liberalism embraced because they voted for a president that wasn't really elected president because we have a thing called the Electoral College. You're telling us that that you can't get things done when there's a majority of people in the popular vote that want a president that doesn't get elected. But yet somehow you're going to be able to flip state legislatures in three-quarters of the states. That's 3 out of 4, Don. That's 3 out of every 4 states have to vote to accept this. 2/3 of Congress has to vote too. Don Lemon thinks that's conceivable, that's possible. Now, are they going to attack the Electoral College? You better believe it. But the reason these folks are unhinged, the reason these folks are full of vitriol, rage, bitterness, may I add, so much bitterness that makes a program like this, Conservative Not Bitter, stand out like a sore thumb amongst these radical lunatics who are losing their minds left and right. But they know that they are on the losing side of this. They know that there's nothing that can prevent this, barring they're going to throw everything they can at this. It just takes, a couple of Republicans to defect, and this nomination doesn't happen before the election. So it's going to get intense. Remember, we've been saying this. I didn't predict, obviously, that there'd be a vacancy to fill here. But there is no other way. When one side believes fervently that America is broken as founded, and another side embraces with I don't know, respect, with gratitude, the principles set forth by our founders, embraced by our founders, and the other side hates those principles. The other side tries to conflate things, confuse us by pointing out slavery and saying because of slavery, everything else they did was wrong. And someone like me would say, no, slavery was obviously wrong, but the other issues they got right. The other issues of liberty, free speech, the right to keep and bear arms, the principles, the framework that they set forth, limited government, those things are beautiful things. And they have unleashed the power of the individual American to live his or her life as he or she chooses. And with that comes prosperity and goodness, and that stuff has been exported around the world. Folks, the United States of America, the vision of the founders, has lifted this world to places it had never been before. And I'm not suggesting here that there's not massive problems in the world still. But in comparison to what it was pre-USA, and in comparison to what these governments who are oppressing their people around the world, what they're doing versus what governments who begin to institute freedom and respect individuals and treat people as citizens and not subjects and allow them to follow their own pursuits and their dreams and their passions and so forth. You look at what happens. The same thing happens every time, until people who want to get back in power start people who want to be totalitarian start killing people again, causing civil war, stealing food and making people basically sell their freedoms in exchange for food, that sort of stuff. But that's not because of capitalism. That's because of the evil in the minds of those who want to be totalitarians. Anyway, long in this segment again. Next segment's going to be really short. You're listening here to the home of conservative, not bitter talk. I am your host, Todd Huff. Back here in just a minute.
Is it possible to be a fan of the show if you don't have the gear to prove it? Why not be safe and remove all doubt? Shop for official merchandise at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
All your life, you've planned and taken care of the people you love. They always knew you had a plan. Taking care of your final wishes will give them one final gift. Buying your headstones direct through Thomas Monument saves your loved ones additional stress during a difficult time and saves money by cutting out the middleman. Call 317-244-6525 or go online to thomasmonument.com to understand why families have trusted us since 1962.
Our word can't be diluted because we are taught that a promise is a commitment in which you always follow through. No ifs, ands, or buts. So every time you walk through Greg Hubler Chevrolet doors, you can count on the advice and expertise we provide you. Because when we make a promise, we keep it. Greg Hubler Chevrolet. Promise kept. Visit GregHublerChevy.com. Find new roads.
Hey Indianapolis, by now you've probably heard about Jody Dowdle with Midwest Tax Group. Jody and his team are experts at helping you prepare your personal or small business tax returns. You can count on Midwest Tax Group to get every deduction possible and work for your higher refund. And not just on this year's taxes, they'll check your prior returns for any tax savings you may have missed for free. Are you behind on filing your returns? They can file past due returns and help negotiate with the IRS too. They complete most tax returns within a week and charge an affordable, flat fee, no hourly billing. And as their client, you can consult with the team at Midwest Tax Group year-round at no charge. Midwest Tax Group has 4 office locations in Castleton, Greenwood, Plainfield, and Greenfield, with evening and weekend appointments available. Schedule your appointment today at 317-288-5260. That's 317-288-5260. Or visit their website at mwtaxgroup.com. Midwest Tax Group can help you more than any piece of software ever could.
Are you one of the growing number of Hoosiers who are concerned about higher taxes, increased spending, and massive debt? So am I. I'm Donald Rainwater, the Libertarian candidate for governor of the state of Indiana. I believe that all Hoosier businesses provide the necessities of life to their owners and employees, and that all Hoosiers are essential. As your governor, I will safeguard your rights to life, liberty, property, and the pursuit of happiness as defined by you, not the government. To learn more, go to rainwaterforindiana.com. We need better government, not bigger government. My name's Donald Rainwater, and I approve this message, paid for by Rainwater for Indiana.
The printing industry has changed a lot since we opened for business in 1931, but what our clients expect from us really hasn't changed. Quality print, fast turnaround, and competitive prices. We've learned a lot at Moeller Printing over 86 years and 3 generations. Why not put that experience to work for you? Call 317-353-2224 and mention discount code RADIO to receive 10% off your first order. Call Moeller Printing at 317-353-2224.
Would you like to save 20% or more on your insurance? Let AIA and Avon do a free comparison for you. As an independent agent, we can find savings that fit your needs and budget. We work for you, not the insurance companies. Whether your insurance need is big or small, give AIA a call, 317-718-1747, or find out what we can do for you at AIA4lowrates.com.
Anxiety, depression, relationship problems, past trauma. Problems rarely get better when given time. Care to Change Counseling can help. Our professionals combined evidence-based care models with scripture to get you on the path to a productive life. We are here to help you make the changes you need for a healthier, happier you. Take that brave step today. Call Care to Change at 317-790-9396 or visit caretochange.org.
Welcome back. I was asking here behind the scenes about this. One of the threats. It's a shakedown. Chuck Schumer's acting like a mafia boss over there in the Senate. If Donald Trump and the Republican Mitch McConnell, if they confirm someone, that's of course what's in their power. It's within their power to do. They reverse course from 2016. This is the opposite. No, it's not. We went through this yesterday. No, it's not. Stop it. But Chuck Schumer's over there threatening people. Make you a deal that you can't refuse. You either do it his way or there will be proverbial hell to pay, Chuck Schumer says. Going to stack the court. Now, I think I've seen they're going to go to 11 justices. FDR wanted to go to 15. There's nothing in the Constitution that says you can't have more justices. There's nothing magical about the number 9, although I would maintain there's something magical about an odd number. You know, I know socialists aren't good at math, but if there's an even number, there can be a tie, this thing called a tie. So there could be, say there's 8 justices, which is what we have right now. Let's think about that, by the way, which has been pointed out elsewhere as well. Democrats have already told us they basically plan on challenging the election results if Biden doesn't win, or if Trump tries to prevent any of the harvested ballots or, ballots that come in weeks later from being counted, which seems to be a reasonable thing, ballots that don't have matching signatures, that sort of thing. Democrats have vowed to take this all the way as high as they can. This may end up on the Supreme Court's, on their doorstep. The court takes this up. What happens if there's a 4-4 vote? Could totally happen, by the way. Roberts could side with the other 3 radical leftists, and the others could vote for the side of reason and decency and all things rational. And then you got a 4-4 tie. So see, there's something good about an odd number because 5-4 is better than 4-4. So there's another reason to appoint someone to the Supreme Court in this case. But Oz was asking, what they're going to just arbitrarily change the number of Supreme Court justices? Yes, that's exactly what they want to do. They've wanted to do this for years. They've just found their excuse now. Trump exercising his constitutional authority to appoint a Supreme Court justice, and the Senate exercising its constitutional authority to confirm said justices or said justice, makes Chuck Schumer mad. Chuck Schumer says nothing's off the table. You like your filibuster? Poof, gone. You don't think we'll stack the courts? You better believe we will. poof, 2 more nominees for Joe Biden day one. Apparently, these are the threats. D.C. as a state. The idea of, I don't care, D.C. is a liberal lunatic hotbed. I went to school there. I lived inside that beltway. You talk about a bubble. These folks live in a fantasy world. Washington, D.C. is a fantasy world. Beautiful city, great monuments, great history. I love the place. But the ideas and the minds of the people that live there, I mean, it is a disaster. It is not a state. In fact, it was distinctive. The founders intentionally made it not a state. It's a district. It's a place where the government resides. It's not supposed to be a state. They carved this place out originally between Virginia and Maryland. Now it's just in Maryland. If D.C. wants to be a state, I say go for it, but it's part of Maryland. It's not its own state. They don't get 2 senators. You don't get representation for the deep state. Is that what we want? I know it's not what you want. Shouldn't happen, regardless of any politics. This is not fundamentally what the founders envisioned. It violates all sorts of ideas and principles about federalism, giving the federal government effectively representation, the deep state getting representation. 95% of D.C. votes for Democrats, 93%, whatever. These are Saddam Hussein sorts of numbers. Anyway. But they're going to threaten to pack the court. They're going to threaten to take away the filibuster. They're going to threaten now to impeach President Trump. AOC thinks this is a great idea. She's out there talking about I don't know if she realizes the House is a different branch from the Senate. I mean, if the House takes up articles of impeachment, how is this going to interfere with the Senate and what the Senate decides to do? Well, Todd, if the House passes articles of impeachment, the Senate must take it up. Really? Nancy Pelosi passed articles of impeachment back in December and wouldn't even send them to the Senate. Folks, we are in this is desperation mode. This is the party. Remember, this is the party that they tell us is in control, is this formidable force. And I'm not minimizing that we're on the brink of them being able to stack up election victories here. I'm not naive to that. But this is a party in desperation. This is a party that's without power, and look at how they behave. They're showing us who they really are. The only thing that matters is power. The only thing that matters is the growth of government. The only thing that matters is for them to take more and for you to get less. These folks are a mess. They have no business being representatives, senators, whatever. I'm talking about the likes of Chuck Schumer. People who think this way. I don't care what group you're a part of, Democrat, Republican, call yourself libertarian, independent, conservative, whatever. Makes no difference to me. You act like this, you behave like this, you think like this. In my estimation, you have forfeited your right to serve as a quote-unquote public servant. This is not what the founders envisioned. You are, in fact, becoming an enemy, a domestic enemy to the Constitution when you behave and act and think in ways like this. Calling for the system to be blown up, as Don Lemon says. I know, Oz, it's time to take a break. Got to take that break. Sit tight, be back in just a minute.
Looking to make a conservative, not bitter fashion statement? Check out our apparel online, including brand new items at toddhuffshow.com/shop today.
Indy Decorative Concrete is hiring immediately. They're looking for workers with experience finishing concrete. Pay is $25 to $30 per hour with weekly overtime. All jobs are located within the city of Indianapolis. Call 317-784-1464 or apply in person at their offices located at 8366 Brookville Road, Indianapolis, Indiana, 46239. They're open Monday to Friday from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. For more information, visit their website, www.indydecorativeconcrete.com. www.indydecorativeconcrete.com.
If you own a rental property, you know the hassles of marketing, renting, collecting, and the handling of maintenance and repairs. One call to Zuluscape can put an end to your property management headaches. Zuluscape has over 20 years of experience helping landlords throughout central Indiana and taking the stress out of owning a rental. From A to Z, let Zuluscape handle it all so you can enjoy owning a rental instead of hating being a landlord. Give us a call at 317-663-8485 or visit our website at Zuluscape.com.
What if your bank treated you like a person instead of an account number? What if you could sit across from the person you are opening an account with or requesting a loan from and have an actual conversation? You may be thinking, Todd, that's crazy talk. Well, not at Citizens Bank. Come visit them in Monrovia and meet Nick Gibson, their new branch manager, and the rest of their staff. Or give them a call at 317-831-0110. Citizens Bank is an equal housing lender and member FDIC.
The compassion of Christ. It's living life connecting to the broken and messy world. It's not simply walking down the street and dropping a quarter in someone's bucket. It's been perverted by Satan from biblical compassion to feeling sorry for, and sympathy isn't where God wants us to live. It's connecting to broken people in our daily life. Living the compassion of Christ.
This is the sound of your typical do-it-yourselfer in completely over his head.
For heating, plumbing,
and electrical done right.
Call Mr. Quick. Call Mr. Quick. Dial the number, spell the words. For on time.
Hi, this is Caleb with Gluff Plumbing. Does your home need some plumbing updates? Gluff Plumbing is your solution. We specialize in updating old plumbing, everything from water heaters to well pumps, to underground leaks and everything that has to do with water entering and leaving the home, including water and sewer main excavations. We pride ourselves on old-fashioned customer service. Call Gluff Plumbing at 765-721-6789 or visit gluffplumbing.com. That's GLUFF plumbing.com. Call us today.
Welcome back. So, waning moments here of the program, but I want to play really quickly here. I was looking at the time. Now, this question is a little hard to hear being asked in the audio, but basically, AOC, she's up at the podium with Chuck Schumer, being asked about whether or not impeachment is a viable option for Democrats. We've literally entered the phase of political retribution. This is now being applauded, endorsed, encouraged by the media, by Democrats. This is now where we are here. Really quickly, AOC at the podium. If you can hear this question, it's going to be hard to hear the question, but you can hear her response. Here it is.
Congresswoman, you mentioned being open to all ideas to buy time. Would you be in support of potentially reviewing talks of an impeachment hearing, either against the Attorney General or the President?
Well, I think I believe that certainly there has been an enormous amount of law breaking in the Trump administration. I believe that Attorney General Barr is unfit for office, and that he has pursued potentially law-breaking behavior. That being said, these are procedures that are and decisions that are largely up to House Democratic leadership. But I believe that also we must consider again all of the tools available to our disposal, and that all of these options should be entertained and on the table.
Congresswoman,
all right, there you go. All the options should be on the table. What are the options? I don't know, but it's political retribution. We're going to impeach the president over this? This is serious. This is being taken seriously by the media, by the elites. Folks, they are beside themselves. This is clearly not the way that this is supposed to work out. And if Trump wins this thing, they are going to lose. I don't even know. I can't even envision what's going to happen. They are going to melt down. I'm not talking about every Democrat. Look, there are Democrats out there that for whatever reason they believe that Biden's better. I think that they're completely wrong, and that's they've been led astray somewhere. But they're not going to melt down and hold cry-ins. They're going to live their lives and do what they've been doing prior to the election. But there is a group of people that will not be able to function. They will not be able to wake up in the morning. They will not be able to go to work. They probably aren't working now anyway. They can't function. They can't deal with this. This is not acceptable to them. And I've got to take a break. Just out of time here. You're listening to Conservative Not Bitter Talk. I'm your host, Todd Huff, back here in just a minute.
Like what you hear on Todd's show? Why not get more by signing up for Todd's free Semi-Sweet Morsels of Truth newsletter? To subscribe, visit toddhuffshow.com/subscribe or text HUFF to 31996.
Seems like just yesterday that you couldn't find a quiet place to think in your home. Now all the kids have flown the nest and you find yourself wondering what to do with all of that extra space. This is Bruce of Bruce Richardson Realty. My team and I understand that life changes, and so do your home needs. So whether you're downsizing or upsizing, give us a call at 317-507-3285. Let us help you find the best fit for your residential or your commercial property needs. 317-507-3285.
Does your business have a plan for social media marketing? Are you reaching the right audiences through Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, and the list goes on? Are you learning from the data? Jarbo can help. Our team doesn't just come in and tell you how to be successful. We help you execute and measure your sales and marketing efforts. Give us a call at 317-834-6560 or visit us online at jarbomarketing.com. That's jarbomarketing.com. Make social media work for you.
Our partner, Global Plasma Solutions, has published ionization testing results that demonstrate a 99.4% reduction rate on a SARS-CoV-2 COVID-19 surface strain within 30 minutes. This is the first instance that an air purification company has effectively neutralized SARS-CoV-2. Commercial Service Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is installing this solution in businesses and homes in South Central Indiana. Get your free information kit at commercialservice.com/info. Commercial Service, commercial-grade service for your home.
You rely on your vehicle every day. It's not a member of the family, but you spend as much time with it as most family members. You wouldn't take your family to just any doctor, so don't trust your vehicle to just any repair service. At Raymond's Auto and Truck Repair in Plainfield, we have well-trained, caring technicians that have the expertise to get you back on the road. For 25 years, we've been servicing personal, commercial, and fleet vehicles. Give us a call at 317-838-7112 for the car service you deserve.
Hi, this is Caleb with Gluff Plumbing. Does your home need some plumbing updates? Gluff Plumbing is your solution. We specialize in updating old plumbing, everything from water heaters to well pumps, to underground leaks and everything that has to do with water entering and leaving the home, including water and sewer main excavations. We pride ourselves on old-fashioned customer service. Call Gluff Plumbing at 765-721-6789 or visit gluffplumbing.com. That's GLUFF plumbing.com. Call us today.
Welcome back, folks. It's some of this stuff it can be humorous. Some of this stuff can be eye-opening. Some of this stuff can be concerning. And in the worst cases, some of this stuff can be terrifying. But we've always been one generation away from the extinction of these ideas are always at risk, always being threatened, because the nature of government, the nature of humanity is to grow government power, is to move away from the principles set forth by our founders in the Constitution. But the good news is when we communicate these ideas clearly, when people understand what they have in this great nation, truth is on our side. History is on our side. Philosophy is on our side. These are fantastic principles that once people understand them, what they are, and they're not misled. Now, I understand there's loud voices and a lot of emotion to overcome, but when people see America for what it really is, when they see it for what it really is, and they understand freedom and liberty for what it really is, good things happen. And we just need to promote more and more truth, stand in the way of this deceit, and vote. We've got to win this election. I've got to go. Thanks for listening. SDGC tomorrow. Take care.
Are you concerned about your investments?